why do people adopt crypto? If you're listening to this and you own crypto, I want you to think back to why you got into crypto. What was it specifically? And I'll go ahead and share mine. I was just uber curious. I didn't understand. I wanted to learn more. And in my life's experience, the closer you can get to an apprenticeship, the better. And what I mean by that is, if you're learning by doing, there's no better way. A lot of people who are listening to this may or may not have college degrees, but if you do have a college degree, you probably have it in something that you understood theoretically. But then when you went to show up for that first day of work or try to engage in that professional sector, you realize that there's a huge disparity between theory and practice. And so for me with Bitcoin, when I wanted to get into it, I took $200, found a Bitcoin ATM, put in the cash, and then I scanned a QR code. And little did I know how much that simple interaction on that weekend day back in July of 2017 would kind of change my life. But the reason why I did it, the reason why I decided to get into Bitcoin was just pure curiosity. I wanted to understand more. So in this episode, let's dive into what I believe are the 4 reasons why people adopt crypto. I'm Jarrett Carpenter, and this is More Than Blockchain. Curiosity. So I've already kind of covered that in the intro. I was super curious about Bitcoin. I had heard about it and I just wanted to understand more. And like I said in the intro, I've always found that doing is the best way to learn. So if you want to learn how to ride a bicycle, you could probably read about it in books. You could watch people do the Tour de France. You could watch people do BMX trials and do cool jumps. But if you just get on a bicycle and start to ride it around, you're all of a sudden going to have a PhD in how to ride a bicycle. So for me, that was the same when it came to Bitcoin and kind of hopping into crypto. So that's number 1, curiosity. Number 2 is fun. Many people get into crypto, or not many, I should say, but a good amount of people get into crypto because they're interested in a community and they've come through gaming. In 2021, this was huge. There was a bunch of casinos. There was a bunch of blockchain-backed games. There was a bunch of play-to-earn games. That's the first time I had ever heard that saying, play-to-earn, where you would essentially play a video game to actually earn in-game tokens, which then you could actually exchange in the real world for monetary value back to the currency on which you're on. So that's number 2, fun. Number 3, and this is why many people are in crypto, and this is probably why most of the institutions are coming in, is speculation. They're speculating that this thing, this asset class, and primarily with a focus on Bitcoin, is going to explode. It is going to be mass adopted for the other 3 reasons, and therefore they want to make sure that they have their stake in the game, their skin in the game, their claim to the future of what may be the way we exchange value on the internet. So that's number 3, speculation. And like I said, speculation really is trying to capitalize on the curiosity folk who are coming in, the people who are coming in for the fun and the video games and the gamification of the crypto space, and they're coming in for the 4th, which is need. Some people need crypto. Now, most of life, I think, is a balance between navigating your wants and your needs. And so if you've come in the first 3, whether it was curiosity, whether it was fun, whether it was speculation, those are things that are kind of wants. You wanted to appease your own curiosity. You wanted to have some fun. Or maybe you wanted to make some money. But then when we get to the need, this is where crypto really, for me, kind of gets serious and becomes more real world. Because if you're diving into anything just because you want to, well, that's an amazing privilege. But it's the 4th group, the need group, that I think is one of the most interesting and where the real world use cases are really being applied day in and day out. You may ask, why would someone need crypto? Well, so much of the globalized world is about physical people who have left one part of the world to work in another part of the world. And then what they need to do is they need to send value back to where they came from. All I'm describing here is the remittance network or the global remittance network. The global remittance network in 2020 was estimated to be around 780 billion, on its way to probably being around 1 trillion by 2030. So, if you're going to be sending money across borders back to your family, crypto is an amazing solution because you can send a lot of money for a low fee and it's secure. If you're using the Bitcoin Lightning Network, you could send millions of dollars for fractions of a penny over a secure monetary network. That's pretty impressive. The other way in which crypto is becoming a need, if we step outside of remittances, one of the other big use cases is just currencies dying. Currencies devaluing to a point where people need to look for other places to store their money. And if your currency is falling off at 20% daily or 20% monthly or 20% quarterly, you can't just go continue to buy real estate here or there. You may need something else that you can buy, which is going to be a quick fix. Now, we as humans in the time of a currency crisis have exchanged our dollars or our fiat for all types of different things. And normally this looks like gold and silver in moments of a currency crisis. However, crypto and specifically Bitcoin allows people to change their fiat money, which may be devaluing, into something that's probably going to hold value as we move forward. So need here is an interesting one if we're talking about currency devaluation. And in order to do that, I want to share with you 3 tweets that were shared by Peter McCormick. Peter McCormick runs the What Bitcoin Did podcast, which in my opinion is one of the premier podcasts in the entire crypto space. Peter was recently in Buenos Aires and he said the following: 24 hours in Argentina and seeing how people move money around from peso to dollar to Bitcoin to dollars to altcoin networks, it is clear that people in a currency crisis will use whatever they can. So, sorry, while Bitcoin is important here, so is Tether on Tron, Polygon, and Ethereum. He goes on to say, interesting. And here's where he's going to talk about when he's asking his friends and the people he was meeting with in Argentina how much time they spend thinking about currency and moving currency around just to maintain value. He says, quote, interesting. I asked them all how much time they spend every week doing this. One explained it is essentially a second job, and about 30% of his time is managing currencies. Another said 50%. The other 2 said it is all they think about. So here's another example to add on to the idea of global remittances, where people are going to always look for the most secure network with the lowest fees to be able to transfer their value. We have people in a currency devaluation crisis where they just literally need to buy anything else so they can survive into the next week, into the next month, and kind of hold on to some of their purchasing power. And these 2 examples have probably come from the developing world or the global south. Well, I want to offer you one last example of need. And that is the banking crisis that has happened in the United States over the last, 3 months. When the banking crisis started, Bitcoin was at 19.5. And I know because I bought that day. And when it ended, Bitcoin was around 30,000. So as people, even in the United States or a developed country who are on the dollar, a currency that isn't devaluing at the rate at which other fiat currencies are devaluing, even people on the dollar in the United States in a moment of crisis will move towards something else that they perceive to be secure and something that's going to continue to appreciate. So as crypto adoption continues to grow globally, it's going to be really interesting to see which of these 4 reasons why people might adopt crypto will grow. Are people going to hop in because it's fun, because it's a great speculative thing as kind of an investment? Is it going to be out of need, or is it going to be driven by just strictly curiosity? So what do you think about these 4? Did I miss any? Thanks for checking out this episode of More Than Blockchain, and please go ahead and follow us on social media at More Than Blockchain. No matter where you're listening to the podcast, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this episode on crypto adoption and the reasons why people adopt crypto, please go ahead and share it with a friend, family member, or colleague. Thanks again for checking out this episode of More Than Blockchain. I'll see you next time.